Welcome to Ridge Life. I'm Tim, and today on Ridge Life's Reviews and How-Tos, I'm going to do a review and setup video on this awesome Predator 5,000 watt super quiet dual fuel generator. We're going to put the oil in it, show you everything you need to know, so stick around. First things first, let's see what all comes in the box. Since this is a dual fuel generator, it does come with a propane tank adapter. If you got a 20-pound propane tank, this is everything you'll need to connect it to your 5,000 watt Predator. Now, for maintenance, it does give you the funnel to fill up the oil. You've also got a push rod and a wrench here to change and check your spark plug. You'll want to do that pretty frequently. We've got a plug and clamp adapter. And now one thing I'm super excited about is this right here. This is a key fob. This is for remote starting and stopping your generator. That's right, remote starting and stopping. That is crazy cool. Now, if you're at different elevations, there's different O-rings and ports and gaskets here. I shouldn't need that for my elevation I'm at now. All right, so now we know what comes in the box. Let's go over some of the internal features and change and add some oil to it. Let's remove this access panel on the left side of the generator here. Loosen these screws and just pop it out of the little sockets, set that off to the side. Now down here, there's one thing we got to do first thing to actually be able to start this before we even put oil in it. And come in a little closer and I'll show you right here. This generator does come with a battery for electric start. Before we can start it though, we have to connect the battery. It comes disconnected from the factory. So pull these little plugs off, get this plug fully inserted. And now we should be able to remote start and push start our generator. Now we also have a pull start over here, so you can pull start if the battery's dead, or you can push button start on the front, or use that key fob. Now another really nice feature is the way the change the oil. You have the drain plug right there. You take that out and there's a little cap. Pop that cap off and there's a little trough. Put your oil pan right below it. That's very cool. To fill it, you just take out the gray dipstick. There are graduations on there. You can see how high it's supposed to be. To check the oil, put it in and do not screw it in, pull it out, and it should be at the top of the graduations. You get high and low. So let's go ahead and put some oil in it. Now this unit uses 0.64 quarts of oil. That's not much, right? Just a little over half a quart. And I am using Mobil 1 full synthetic 10W30. I like full synthetic, and 10W30 is what it calls for standard use in this generator. I've got the red funnel that came with it, got a little rag. All I got to do is this right here. Come on down here. Cover back on. Now I will say, you will need to change the oil after 30 hours for the break-in. Don't let it run more than 75% load during that 30-hour break-in. And then after that, you need to change the oil every 100 hours. I know on some of the other generators, it's every 50 hours, but on this one, it's every 100 hours, change the oil. 30 hours for the break-in, 75% load. You should be good to go on this generator. I flipped the generator around. Let's check out this side. Open this access panel. Once you have this one off, you can see what all is over here. Pop these out. Now these access panels are really important for keeping the generator quiet. You have this insulating foam right here. You want to make sure you keep these on and secure for that super quiet effect. All right, so come on a little closer and I'll show you what we have in here. So if the battery was to fail, we do have a manual choke override right here. You'll just pull the choke and then you'll do the pull string, and that's how you can start it again if the battery is dead or disconnected. Now, this is also your air filter. You can take this cover off and make sure this air filter stays clean. That will increase the life and efficiency of your generator. Also, we have right here There's your spark plug. And that little wrench that came with it, that's where you're going to use to clean and check the gap on your spark plug. So this access area, very, very simple. Get this panel on right here. Now, I also want to mention, there is a note right here. It says, clean your air filter regularly. Every 3 months or 50 hours or you void the warranty. So make sure you're checking that pretty often. I'll show you another thing you got to check and clean here in just a second. Right here on the back of the unit, it reminds you to clean the spark arrestor when changing the oil. And that is right there, guys. That spark arrestor, you just take that off and clean that out, and then you should be good to go. Right under the spark arrestor is this handy little nameplate with some useful information. Reminds you that 0.64 quarts of 10W30 motor oil. Again, I use full synthetic. It does operate 120 volts. Now, this is not a split phase 240-220 unit. It's only 120 volts. It runs at 32.5 amps under gasoline, 30 amps under propane, and it is 3,900 watts under gasoline and 3,600 watts under propane. It's a single phase, 60 hertz, runs 26 to 3,800 RPM, does have a 1.0 power factor, insulation class H, and don't operate this above 104 degrees Fahrenheit. More handy information, must not exceed that 32.5 amps. If the power shuts off, unplug devices, press reset button, make sure the device amps are less than 32.5. Now, you also want to use E85 or no E85 gas. Make sure it's 10% ethanol blend or less. Don't be putting that corn stuff in here. We don't want that. You do have your fuel gauge right here, tell you how much is in the unit. Make sure you maintain 5 feet of distance all the way around at all time. And of course, here's your quick start guide for gas and propane. And if you want to turn it on, you can switch the battery switch to on and then pull the handle, or press the start button twice, or you can actually press the key fob button twice as well for remote start. Very cool. And finally, before we start it, let's go over the features. Now, one thing I really like is this locking wheel. Boom, right there, you can spinny. That way it doesn't roll around on you. We do have the telescoping handle to cart it around. Very, very nice, right there on the bottom. Now, you do want to ground this unit. It's going to be, it makes you run a ground cable to right there. It is dual fuel, gasoline and propane, 5,000 watts starting, max starting, 3,900 gasoline running, 3,600 propane running. If you want to parallel two of these units, we do have some parallel ports right there. You have a low oil indicator, overload, and output. You got a nice little display. You can push the button right there. So we've got 0 hours on it right now. We have not used it. You can go through all those settings when it's running. You do have the off storage selector. You can put it on propane over here. Gasoline, we're going to be running it on gasoline today. Right here's your propane connection. That's where you'll put the adapter that I showed you earlier. Now, you have this throttle right here. Now, if you want to save some gasoline, you can turn the throttle, ESC throttle on, and basically it RPMs down the engine when it's not under load. When it goes under load, the RPMs will go up, and of course your gas usage will go up. You want to start it off though. Make sure the unit is off when you start it. Now, we do have USB ports, 5, 9, 12 volts, 2 amp. That's USB-C and USB-A. We have the 8 amp reset. And here is your DC 12 volt 8 amp. We showed you that. Overload reset right there. Now we do have the AC 120 volt 20 amp circuit. These are two 20 amp circuits that you can use. Of course, you can use extension cords with multiple outlets off that. And then we have the 120 volt 30 amp circuit right here. That's your RV plug, if you will. And we do have carbon monoxide shutoff. You'll get a little alarm right there. Now, either your 20 amp or your 30 amp trip, you have a 20 amp reset and a 30 amp reset right there. Now, we want to start this thing, right? You have it off, turn on. Now, we've got battery connected, and push the engine start stop button 2 times, or we can use the pull cord or the key fob. We're going to start off by using this button here. So let me back up and I'll show you that in operation. Time to put some gas in it. Ain't got no gas in it. Well, this ain't got no gas in it, but what it does have is a little screen right here. You want to make sure you keep that clean, free of foreign debris. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some gas in. It does have a 3.7 gallon tank. 3.7 gallon tank. Let's just pour just a little bit in there to get it started. Get that down in there. Try not to make a mess. Woo, now for the fun part, guys. We're gonna start it for the first time. Turn the power switch on, make sure the ESC throttle is off, push the start button 2 times. Wow. That is pretty quiet. I am pretty amazed. All right, let me turn the ESC throttle on. Oh, that sounds amazing. Listen to that. That sounds amazing. We're gonna put a load on it here in a second. Let me go ahead and turn that off. Stop it. You can stop it just by pushing the stop button, or you can turn the power switch off. The stop button is probably the preferred method. Let me also start it by the key fob here. Make sure this is good. That's good. So I'm gonna push the key fob 2 times. 1, 2. Did it start? 1, 2. 1, 2. Oh, there it goes. And then quiet again, quiet again. Again, the ESC throttle is off. Now it's on. Goes down, very, very nice. All right, let me turn this one off. You can turn it off by the key fob also. Very cool. Turn that off. Now let's listen to this big 8750. Now this is an inverter also, but it's not a super quiet inverter. So let me start it, and you can tell the difference. Whoa! Now that thing's loud. My microphone has noise cancellation, so I'm having to yell over it. You probably can't tell how loud this is. It's loud. Woo! Let me start this one. You can't even hear it, can you? Let me turn this one off. Amazing. Now, a second ago when I tried to start with the key fob, I was pushing the buttons too quickly, I think. So, you see the light flash there? See, it works every time when you do it like that. We can see right here, overload cleared, output green, 125 volts. Cycle through, let's see what else we got here. 0 amps, 0, I can't read that. 0, yeah, hours, yeah. Everything was 0. Very, very cool. I also want to show you this little pamphlet that comes attached to the generator. Got a wattage estimate chart for all kinds of different things. Gives you some pointers and tips. Open it up, and we can see, well, on the front side gives you all the generator components, everything that's useful to you, so you know what's going on. We open it up, and inside is all kinds of information about the oil, the battery, and of course the gasoline starting procedure, very simple, and the propane gas starting procedure, very, very simple. Time for a real world test. I got this big concrete mixer right here. This thing has got a pretty good starting current on this motor, getting this big barrel spinning around. So first thing I'm gonna do is plug it in. Generator's off, turn the generator on switch on, ESC throttle's off. I'm gonna go ahead and use the key fob. I like it, this is just so cool. 1, 2. Starts right up. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the ESC throttle off right now. So it's running at you know, regular RPM. Let's go ahead and start, see what happens. Didn't even budge it, all right? Let me stop it. I'm gonna put the ESC throttle on. It's gonna throttle down. Start it back up. I hear it throttle back up. This is probably louder than the generator. That's pretty amazing. Very, very amazing. All right, we'll stop that. It should throttle back down in just a second. I'm gonna start it back up here in just a second, get down a little closer and see if we can see what the voltage and current does. Come on in closer. All right, we can see we're running at 125 volts, 0 amps. 0 volt amp, 0 hour, 0.02 hours. All right, so 125 volts. Let's go ahead and start. We got it spinning. Come here, we got 124 volts, 3 amps. We're pulling 3 amps on this. 370 volt amps, that's basically power. Again, 0 hours, 0.3. Awesome, very, very cool. All right, now let's try something with a lot more starting current. This is a big cobalt air compressor. If you ever tried to start one of these on a generator, it will often bog it down on the starting. All right, so we are 125 volts right now. I do have the ESC throttle on, so this will be the worst case scenario. Can it handle it? Let's find out. All right, it started. 123 volts, 10.5 amps, 1,320 volt amps, 1,340. There you go, guys. That's a lot of power right there on this air compressor, and it did it no problem. Let me go ahead and turn the ESC throttle off. We'll stop it. We'll stop it, and let's see if it hesitates this time when we start it. No, started right up. Look at that. Right up. 1,400. Woo! I don't know about you, but I am super impressed with the Predator Super Quiet Inverter 5,000 watt dual fuel generator. It's going to serve my needs immensely being here off grid on the ridge. I'm using the big 221 for my well right now, and I'll use this Predator to power my RV as I'm building my house. I've also got a Blue Eddy power generator or solar generator, and I can use it to use this Predator to top it off as well when the solar's just not quite there. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a big old thumbs up. Hit that notification bell right down there to be notified anytime a new video comes out on Ridge Life's reviews and how-tos, Ridge Life ramblings, Ridge Life lessons, lessons from the Ridge. Like, share, and subscribe. It's always 100% free. So until next time, hope everyone has a blessed day, and go Ridge Life. Woo!